Okay, this is a video for the 7Hz i99. It's a 13.8 millimeter, I think, electroplated beryllium on top of a DLC driver. I'm not sure about that. I'm a little bit confused, but it does do bass really well, and it does do mids very well. But it graphs elevated, so it's behaving a lot like a beryllium, so I don't know what DLC's got to do with that. Music listened to: Tupac, Picture Me Rollin', Michael Jackson, Want to Be Starting Something, Aerosmith, No More, No More, Black Sabbath, Sweetly. Before we continue, this is the video that convinced me to move along from the Empire Ears. I think that this set is better than the Empire Ears, but unfortunately that's not that big of a deal. So maybe Patreon's next month event, I'm not sure. If you were to do that and for the $20 cream, you could keep it if you want, or this is the limited Japanese gold cap 200 made version. You could turn a substantial profit if you weren't interested in it. As a person that has to critical listen, I pulled out the IR Z1R, and that belongs right where it is. This doesn't belong on my table. I'm still on the search for what's going to place it, but instead of waiting until I find that thing, I'm just going to go ahead and move on from this. It's the music that kind of brought this to light. Let me explain. First, Tupac, Picture Me Rollin'. One of the best masters in the hip-hop industry, along with Good Kid, Mad City, in my opinion. Picture Me Rollin'. Boom, ding, ding, ding. There's a little triangle strike. It's like, I think it's deck mixed, and it's sounds good on the 7Hz i99. It sounds a little bit too much on the, I've put up a graph already on the community section if you want to go check that out. And you go to the front page of the YouTube and there's a tab that says community. Click on that. It's got a comparison. The treble on the Empire Ears is not that great compared to this or the Sony. This is where I got to keep it in the rails and not start going off. I spent the money. It's, as a person that's reviewing and using music as the evaluation, having a fun set. Fun. The Sonys are fun, and they're also very accurate to my ears, and this is just a little bit too much. So on Picture Me Rollin', it sounded, the micro details that are available in All Eyes on Me, the entire double CD and double LP that I have right there, was the micro details were better on the 7Hz. If you think, oh, you're trying to gas up the 7Hz, I have to do another video because I don't think it's even really good comparison. This is a hybrid, this is a dynamic. I just thought because they're both relatively kind of V, this an extreme V, it would be a good comparison. Turns out that's not the case, but the win is that I like, okay, that's enough. Saying that this has got too much bass, watch out for the genre, this is not ideal for vocals. The qualifiers that I constantly put out, and I've been doing it for months, just doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to stop doing it and move along from the set. Michael Jackson, Want to Be Starting Something. The left channel beep that happens between 1:27 and 1:33 seconds is not available on either set. The first time I heard this was on, it's two beeps. The first one is louder than the second one, and the second one is longer. It's like, bee-hoot. I know that sounds weird, but if you've heard it, you can catch it. You gotta have good hearing and a good resolving. The Sony EX1000, EX800 ST both gave that to me the first time, and then certain sets in between. And I consider all of the ones that did it to be very good. And they seem to have a pattern with bass to mid transition being a fairly stable, which some of the EX had. The Aerosmith, No More, No More, the triangle strike sounds more authentic on the 7Hz i99 than it does on the Legend X. This is really where it all went. This is the moment when I said, okay, I'm going to pull this off of my desk. Steven Tyler's vocals on Aerosmith, literally, this is the awesome thing about music. It's like a timeline in life, but it's a video. The moment that I went ahead and listened to No More, No More and listened to how far back Steven Tyler sounded. If there were any other set that cost $150 was out of China, I would say that I think the mids are very poor. But this is a lot more expensive. So this sounded better, but again, the comparison's not ideal, so I'm going to have to do a push, which I'll do it on another video in the future. I got other stuff I need to review, so I'm going to have to revisit it. At this point, I think the 7Hz is really... They made another one that had like a copper nozzle I talked about before, and unfortunately it just wasn't... I think it was a little too off. This is V-shaped, but the resolution is very good, so it needs to be compared with something that is considered by many in the hobby to be very, very good. Not reviewers, but like people that have bought. So if you have a suggestion for what you consider to be, please don't tell me Moondrop. I think that the Harman is maybe not the ideal target for me. Though this is kind of similar to that. I'd like to... Maybe I'm not sure. That's still kind of an open door. What is the dynamic that this is going to be compared to? That's a hybrid. Not, unfortunately. I love that set. Holy crap. Today reinforced my love for the Sony. That turned out good. This all turned out good. Reinforced my love for the Sony. Convinced me that it's time to move on from the Empire ears, and that this $550 set is technical. Listen to the music. Steven Tyler sounds better on this set than it does on that set. The cymbals sound better on this set than on that set. Same song. The piano sounds better on this set than it sounds on this set. 3 things on same song that I listen to in almost all my videos. If I were listening to this and you said these are both $500, I'd pick this one easy. Wouldn't be any hesitation. Listening to Black Sabbath Sweet Leaf, which is a very kind of hazy, distortion-laden, it still sounded good. And again, because I was going between these two, it wasn't that hard to do. I listened to the Sony, but I did that after, and I was just confirming its exceptionalism, exceptionalness, exceptionalization. Let me make words. Jim Croce operator, which is obviously vocal. There we go. Operator, won't you help me make this go down, 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 down. He actually sounded quite good on this. This is, again, it's on my community channel. I want to keep the graphs out. You can look at them at your own leisure. I think they have their place. Vocals sounded good on this. I thought it was really good. He didn't sound too much on me. The guitar sounded great. There wasn't too much. I thought it all sounded nice. That's why this really can't be a critical evaluation of, and this is the second video this has got, and I'm going to have to push to a third. But I'm not going to do it right away, so this is not being hyped. Though it's quite good. I just got to figure out what competes with it in its relative price range. And again, suggestions would be welcome, because it's $550. It doesn't, BAs, hybrids, it's a fairly large dynamic. Yeah, got to think about that. I listened to D by Ozzy, which also sounded really good. That's a very short, simple Randy Rhoads, not intended to be recorded, but put on an album, kind of practicing as a trained classical guitarist. It's very nice, and he sounded really good on it. Alice in Chains Rooster. This was another where the Empire Ears, he sounded way back. The vocalist for Alice in Chains, I don't recall. Sorry. Chris Cornell. The stuff I really love, I know the lead singer was Alice in Chains. I can't think right off my head. Someone's going to come and say it, and I'm going to be like, boom, face palm. But for right this moment, I don't know. But he sounded back also on the Empire Ears relative to this set. So it became... Instead of comparison between A and B, it became this cheaper set's better than this expensive set. Time to move along. Should I put that in a video? Why not? To not do it would be take shine off of this, because this was the set that was being AB'd, where this became, that's a V, but it's done decently. That's a V that's just too much when compared with another V set. This is an extreme V. And when I think about what I've been saying for months about, this is genre specific pretty much, and, if you're not into bass, you might want to, like these little qualifiers that I was putting out there and not really listening to myself. And today I got over my own, like, I want this in my life for reasons I don't know. If you guys know behind the scenes, I've kind of hinted to certain stuff, and it wouldn't be a favorable view of the company. It was just, I don't know. Got hooked on something, and today's the day I realized got to move on. So that is the brief comparison between the 7Hz. I got to pause every time because 7Hz, I guess that's cool. 7Hz i99. I don't know what 9 means. I don't know what the naming and numbering systems, that someone's going to come up with a cool one. I'll be doing this, I guess, in the future. And the Legend X will be, I guess I'll talk to my Patreons about if they want to do that, because I guess I can do that. So do I recommend this set? I like it. I'm thinking of what's in its price range. That's a large dynamic with beryllium, that's got fantastic build quality, and comes in a case that you can, smells like weed. This case smells like weed. That is not influencing me, because if I can't chip it and smoke it, because if that were the case, then you could think he's stoned. No, I wish. So I'm out. You guys take care. To be continued. And I'm out.